The Denver Broncos took care of business today, 38-12 in their preseason finale against the Arizona Cardinals. This was a fun game, Broncos country. This was a fun game to be at. It was a fun game to experience. You could tell that the guys out on the field today were having fun and playing with their hair on fire. It was so awesome to see that kind of energy from players who are probably going to mostly play reserve roles on the Denver Broncos. And for some of these guys, the harsh reality is this is the last snap of professional football that some of these guys are ever going to take. It's a little bit less of that now than it was previous years because of developmental leagues like the UFL and the CFL as well. We see guys get other opportunities to build up their football resume. But for some of these guys, this is it, man. This is the last time that they will ever play football in their lives. So gotta show some love and some respect to all those guys out there because this is a cruel business, man. These guys are real people. They have families. They've got people surrounding them, supporting them. And this is going to be a tough couple of days for some of these guys who played their ass off today on the field. So I just wanted to right away give some love to those guys for sure. But jumping into the meat and potatoes of this video, this game was super fun, like I said earlier. Zach Wilson played a really, really solid game. I thought that he had some awesome plays. He hit 2 hole shots perfectly. Those are high degree of difficulty throws. He threaded the needle between multiple defenders a few times. Again, high degree of difficulty throws. His footwork was clean. It was consistent. His feet were leading him through his progressions. Seeing Zach actually being able to process what was going on the field at a high level is extraordinarily encouraging. Zach Wilson was really awesome today. Through the air, he went 16 for 25 for 251 yards, an average of 10 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, no picks, also had a rushing touchdown on a quarterback sneak. He took 4 sacks today, and he had a passer rating of 123.9. So really good box score stats, and even when you dive into the tape, it started off a little bit rocky and a little bit shaky, but as the game went on, Zach got comfortable out there, and he was dealing towards the end of the game. I think about that touchdown that he had to Brandon Johnson. That was chef's kiss, a gorgeous throw. I mean, he leveled that thing up there. He was going for that turkey hole, that little void in the zone against cover 2 between the flat defender and the safety. And he hit a beautiful throw there to Brandon Johnson. And that was prior to hitting the turkey hole previous to that. So really awesome to see that kind of stuff from Zach Wilson. He's playing with confidence out there. He's playing with moxie. He's playing with swagger. You love to see that. Now, does that mean Zach Wilson has earned the quarterback 2 spot? That's going to be its own video. Spoiler alert, little teaser there, but that's going to be its own video. As far as the rest of the team is concerned, Jarrett Stidham did have a brief cameo in the game. He started, went 2 for 4 for 28 yards, marching the Broncos downfield for an Audric Estime touchdown on their opening possession. Nothing really to write home about what Stiddy did out there. I mean, he efficiently executed the offense, what he needed to do. Had a couple of misses there, obviously, but nothing really of note there when it comes to Jarrett Stidham. When it comes to the run game, sorry, my voice is a little bit shot from being out at the game and having to yell, but when it comes to the run game, Blake Watson, 11 carries, 38 yards, 3.5 yards per attempt. Tyler Beatty, I thought, looked pretty good out there. The box score is a little less indicative of that, but he had a couple of explosive runs. He was 10 carries, 32 yards. Zach Wilson, 2 carries, 22 yards. Obviously had the touchdown on the quarterback sneak. Audric Estime, 5 carries, 18 yards, most of that work coming on that first drive, and the rushing touchdown to boot. Troy Franklin had a nice gain on a little end around. That was nice, and he had another good reception as well for 21 yards. So it was good to see Troy Franklin get out there, build that confidence a little bit, because we've been talking about Troy Franklin's struggles ad nauseum on this channel, so it was really good for him to go out there and get some good reps and put some good film out there. Brandon Johnson, 2 catches, 83 yards, including that beautiful touchdown from Zach Wilson. David Sills, 2 catches for 38 yards. Nate Atkins, 2 catches, 20 yards, and a wide open touchdown pass from Zach Wilson. Just in the flat on 4th down and goal from the 1. Really good stuff there from Nate Atkins, who, spoiler alert, I've got him making this team. Tyler Beatty, 3 catches for 19 yards, so some more explosive plays there from Beatty in the receiving game. Devon Vele, 1 catch for 14 yards. Audric Estime, 1 catch for 14 yards, and so on and so on. One player who I'm a little bit surprised offensively didn't play is Samaje Perine. You'll see my video that I put up on the channel the other day talking about how Samaje Perine was basically going to have a showcase game today where he was going to be put on display for all 31 other teams in the NFL to potentially go out and trade for him. That never happened. He was inactive today. I don't know if that means that the Broncos have changed their mind on Perine and he is going to make the team, or if that possibly just means they didn't want to get him injured in this game and that they feel like he's got good enough trade value as is that they could move on from him, or it means that they've just decided that they're going to cut him and save the $3.5 million and let him be able to choose his own next team. I don't know what the answer really is there for Samaje Perine. I was a little bit perplexed as to why he didn't play today. I actually texted somebody who I know in the Broncos media and asked him if he knew, and he didn't. So, I have no clue, man. I have absolutely no clue what's going on with Samaje Perine. That's going to be an interesting situation to monitor over the course of the next couple of days. Moving in to the defensive side of the ball, Tanner McAllister was the leading tackler on the day with 7 tackles. Justin Sternad really stood out. He had that forced fumble that was recovered by Keidron Smith. Keidron Smith has made a strong case to make the active roster. 3 turnovers in 3 preseason games and had other turnovers throughout the course of training camp. Keidron Smith is a ball hawk, and you cannot let guys like that get exposed to the waiver wire. Otherwise, they'll just get claimed. There are pro scouting departments on all 31 other teams that are looking at Keidron Smith's tape and are like, ooh, we'd totally like to have this dude if he gets on waivers. You know damn well Denver does not want to let that happen. I think that Justin Sternad has made this team, and I think that Keidron Smith has also made this team. So congratulations to both of them. And with Sternad, another thing that was notable was that he started over Jonas Griffith today. I think at this point, Jonas Griffith might be on the bubble in terms of making the 53, but he is definitely a prime candidate for the practice squad and probably not at very high risk of getting claimed by another team. So that's probably where things stand in terms of Jonas Griffith right now. JL Skinner made some good plays out there. It was good to see him play with some confidence. He's kind of had an up and down preseason, so really good stuff from him. Thomas and Coombe, he needed to put together a decent game, and I thought that he did so. Reese Taylor, Quentin Newsome, Art Green, he kind of struggled out there, honestly. Devon Key got a little bit of action. He's all but a lock to make the 53 at this point. Levi Wallace got some action as well. He's probably solidified his spot on the 53. Iniuazurike, I thought had a couple of pressures, looked good out there. I'm curious to see what's going to happen with him if he makes the roster or if the Broncos possibly want to expose him to waivers. Nick Benito got a little bit of action today, and he had a really nice stop on a run play, so really good stuff from him. Damari Mathis actually got injured on the second snap defensively. It was an ankle injury, the Broncos called it. It did not look good whatsoever. He had to be carted off. Everybody in the stadium thought that it was a bad injury, but according to Sean Payton, he avoided a major injury. He's still dealing with something in his ankle, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been, so maybe just a high ankle sprain or something like that. Obviously, high ankle sprains are not great, but you can still live with those. Alec Mock got shaken up in the game, but he ended up being okay. Lavelle Bailey, dude, his 94-yard pick six, just the read that he made on that play was insane. You can tell that Lavelle Bailey watches a lot of film and that he's a very heady player. He thinks he doesn't exactly think on the field, because if you think on the field, that's when you end up messing up and second guessing. But he reacts really well to what he sees out there. You can tell that he can see stuff coming from a mile away. And that's exactly what happened on this play. Great read by Lavelle Bailey on that one. Excuse me. And then finally, guys, Michael Bandy, he was back there returning punts. He's definitely made a case for the practice squad. I think the Broncos really like Michael Bandy. In terms of the punting competition, I think that Riley Dixon has edged out Trenton Gill. It's a matter of consistency versus a big leg, and I'd rather have the consistency with Riley Dixon. His placement's a lot better than Trenton Gill's is. Gill had a big punt, but it resulted in a touchback, so do with that what you will. I think that Trenton Gill is definitely going to be a starting punter in the NFL, and I can see an argument for the Broncos keeping Gill, honestly, but I also feel like Riley Dixon is your better player there, so he's the one that I think is going to ultimately end up making the team. But I could also see that argument as well for Trenton Gill. All right, Broncos country. Overall, a very fun game, but it's going to be a very crazy next 24 to 48 hours as we see all kinds of roster moves made all across the NFL. And we might see a few trades here or there as teams solidify their 53-man rosters and 16-man practice squads. All right, Broncos country, let me know in the comment section below who stood out for you in this game. Who were your guys in this game? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts as always. The Denver Broncos finished 3-0 on the preseason as they defeat the Arizona Cardinals 38-12. And until next time, guys, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.